Welcome back to another final table commentary. Still going through the old Scoop 2020 series. This time around we got a 215 rebuy, and I see pads with a big stack, so that's kind of fun to see. Should be a very interesting final table. We also got Robinho, Proberus, Mara Arthur, got Big Boss, Miracle Q, the Lippo Fund. I'm missing one player, Nellis Chief. How do you say that? Nellis Chief. Julio in the small blind as well. I skipped over them. Why did I skip over Julio? What's wrong with Julio? Nothing's wrong with them. Nothing at all. Pads are a big stack bully. The final table fill in. 53 bigs, king 7 suited, raising it on up and getting it. No, he's not getting it through. Nellis Chief comes along with 7-5 suited. I don't know why I thought this was just going to be an easy fold. Sometimes when you see somebody with a dominated hand and you're commentating, you're like, well, this guy's going to fold. He knows what's happening. Nope. Nellis comes along on the flop with a pair of 5s. Pads turns the second at flush. Another small bet will get the job done. I sure hope it was small. I didn't quite see the size. I did say small, so I hope it's small. Julio with queens. Puts in a 3-bet here. Miracle Q with 11 blinds, a suited ace. Gonna be an easy fold for them. Unfortunate they couldn't get that one through pre-flop. Julio waking up with queens. Just ruining the day for Miracle Q. Robinho in the small blind with 7-6 suited. He's gonna play limp. I like it. Might even call a raise if need be. Flop an open-ended flush draw or straight draw. Open-ended flush draw, can you imagine? 3 on the turn. 7-6 is in a weird spot. It hates its straight draw compared to the fact that Jack 10 is already out there. Robinho says, I don't know about that though, bucko. I might just keep bombing with this shitty 7-6. Nice little job there done by Robinho. Pads with pretty well the same hand, had let it go. That's kind of cool to see Robinho take the aggressive line versus the bigger stack. Don't give pads an opportunity to push him around, even though we did limp in pre-flop. So we did kind of give him a chance. But pads didn't take it this time. 7-5 suited on the button. We'll just hit the muck. I'm surprised about that. Although, he's playing about 19 big blinds effective. 10 with the big blind. I think there would be a lot of open rips like we see Lippo do as a king comes on the flop. No jack on the river. Lippo down to 2 blinds. So pads with the 7-5 suited says, I'm not going to just jam this in just because I can. Just because it's suited and connected. Ace and a jack for Proberus. How many blinds is that? That's a weird number. Looks like it was 12. Now up to 15 for them. Nellis Chief with the aces. Doesn't look like they're going to get any action, but it's a limp pot, so what the hell. We're going to a flop. Interesting choice to limp it in. Huh. It's super weird. You got 2 very short stacks. Miracle Q. Oh my lord, a Mara Arthur there with 11. I don't think this is the favorable way to play aces if you're trying to win the tournament. But with that being said, it's pretty reasonable if we're trying to ladder up. There's almost no bet Julio can put in on the river that would make you fold, even though you don't love it. You kind of just showed up with aces here. Still going to go for some value on the river. Not today for Nellis. Robinho with ace jack O, raising it up under the gun +1, and pads comes along. Directly to his left. Julio, ace 10 in the big, lets it go. Uh-oh. Middle set for pads, top pair, top kicker for Robinho. I see this one going one way and one way only. Hopefully Robinho doesn't raise here. Wouldn't be surprised to see it though. Just plays call, nicely done. Let's see a scary card. A deuce of spades is not it. Pads 9-9. Looks like a 2/3 pot size bet. Robinho still can't fold, I don't think. 5 on the river. Well, ace 3 of spades get there. So queen 10 misses, 10-8 misses. They might only have the suited variety of those, as this was an early position raise. 10-8 suited, probably not there. King 10 suited. There's quite a few bluffs, and then there's like 9s. Pads isn't doing this with like pocket 10s. Maybe queens? Could have flatted pre-flop. Anyways, we're calling down with ace jack. No surprise there. I'm just trying to think through what the hell is Pads' range even looking like there. Probably some suited broadways. A few pocket pairs, so he's going to have some sets. Probably not 4s though. So it's an interesting spot. The value range is super tight. It might be ace jack plus, or ace jack or better, sorry. Can't see king jack going for 3 streets there. Huh, interesting stuff. Anyways, we lose a player. I already forget who it was. How did that happen? How did I already forget who it was? Let's see if I can remember. Nope, it's not coming to me today. This is no good. Pads with top 2, that's pretty good. Probris just slightly outkicked now. That's a darn shame for the king jack. Might want some protection here too. Does put in a small bet. There ain't no straights made yet, so Pad says let's put in some value, or put in a value raise. Still flush draw. The clubs 6-7. Probably no 6-7. Jack 10. That's certainly there for Probris. Probris says maybe I'd prefer to have a better made hand or a better draw. King of clubs is a weird card for Probris to have in that situation, and they find the fold. So Lippo was pot committed pre-flop, and he's pretty well dead. Deuce will dead him on the turn. Small pot for Big Boss. But we get a ladder, so I suppose that's something. And this is a 215 buy-in, so it's like right around $2,200. If we get another ladder, that's pretty darn big. Almost 10 buy-ins. Ace Queen from Miracle Q, 6 big blinds. Let's rip it in. Right? We do expect Nellis to be opening pretty tightly there. Sorry, he's even limping in. How do I keep missing that? Nellis playing the limping strat. 3 ways to a flop 7-5-4. Backdoor diamonds for Nellis. 2 overs, checks it back. 6 of diamonds on the turn. Huh. Top pair for Big Boss with a gutter to an 8. Mayor Arthur. Top pair. Gutter to an 8. Misses. King 9. We'll just take this one down after it checks, right? Is Nellis going to stab here? Ace 10 with the missed flush draw? Probably not. Nellis says, yeah, no, I'm not going to stab here. Pro Baris with 8s. Under 10 bigs, ripping it in. Julio not going to be calling off with Queen 10. Would be fun to see a flip, but not now. Ace 3 for Pads, raising it up into Probris's big blind. He rips Ace Jack O, gets it through. Whoa, if Pads opens a 6-5, that would be quite a wide open under the gun. At least it seems that way. 9-8 for Big Boss. Thought about it for a long time, but it wasn't suited, so he says I'll move along as Julio rips King Jack for 20 bigs effective. Big Boss. 4-4. Nice to see him stay aggressive. Probris jams the better pocket pair. 1-4 is already dead. Don't do it, Big Boss. He might be priced in. 2 million into about 6. A little bit more than 2 million chips to call. Big Boss says, no, I'm going to be dominated here. And he was completely dominated with his outs dead. And then not even to mention the fact that Miracle Q's down to 5 bigs. Mayor Arthur on 10. It's like, you just gotta wait there in Big Boss issues. Just fold the 4s. Probris shouldn't be jamming too wide. Whoo, blind on blind. Ooh, pads will even raise the 8-3. So 4s raise all in. Big boss comes along. 8-8. Ace flop. That's funny. Pads fold to boat. Obviously, facing a raise from the big blind. Big boss had jacks. They hold up. Milk Q out in 7th place. 10s for big boss this time around. Probris is aggressive. Facing a 3x, I don't think he's going to jam. We could see a jam, though. We could with that ace. Nope, quickly in the muck. Pads with a 10 and a 9. Raising it up. Julio with 7s. Not a great song to start the day off here. That's quite alright, though. Julio lays down the 7. Nellis folds the queen X in the big blind. We move along. 6 and a 9 on the button in the muck. Nellis with jack deuce will just walk out. Paz with ace queen. That's a shame. Boo 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 boo. 13 blinds and pocket 8s. We're ripping it in. We're getting it through. I gotta say, so I never went with a prediction here today. But we do have a villain in pads. Hasn't been overly aggressive. There was a few spots where I was thinking, you could take it if you want it. Pad says, I'll play a little bit more disciplined than you, my friend. Probris staying aggressive with the suited ace under the gun, too. Pads is kind of in a weird spot. Like, Big Boss has half his chips. So even if you're the big stack, you are kind of hoping some of these shorties bust before you have to play heads up. And you want that heads up to be not as deep as it may end up being, but the thing is, I just foresee, okay, so say Pads doesn't get any of these knockouts. We'll see if he calls with 6s. This will be a huge pot. Nope, gonna be folding. Right around 20 big blind jam there from Julio. Okay, so I'm thinking Big Boss, if he finds a way to, say, knock out Nellis, Mayor Arthur, picks up like 15 big blinds, he's sitting there at about 45. Then you got a 4-handed battle, Julio, Probris, Pads. And first place isn't really... Pads almost has it established. But Big Boss would potentially have fought his way back. Nellis is going to come along with the suited ace, a very small jam. Going to need a spade or 5. 4 would do, but no. Nellis doubles up to shorty, and he gets ace queen. No double for Nellis, though. That's pretty rude, Poker Stars. Okay, so anyways, through all my rambling and nonsense, Queen Jack suited, Mayor Arthur, rep it in. Julio in the big. I don't know what to do with ace queen. Excuse me. He finds a jam. Pad says this ain't too good. King high board. Both players pair the queen on the turn. No jack for Mayor Arthur. Julio up to 37 big. So that pretty well, even though it wasn't Big Boss, like Julio kind of brought what I was talking into being. Like 36 big. Say he knocks out Nellis. Just say it happens. If he's hanging in there at 40 blinds, he's right behind Pads. Pads doesn't have this thing locked up by any stretch of the imagination. 10s are even putting in a check raise here on the board pair and turn with a bunch of flush draws out there. A few straight draws. Pads will take Jack 4 suited. Apply the pressure on the middling stacks. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, hey, kitty. You look pretty pissed off over there. Boo ba doo 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 doo. This is a limp pot. 6 on the turn, pretty dirty. Probris floats with the gutter and the backdoor flush draw. It goes check check. Big Boss shows some 10s. Probris says, haha, I got a straight. King on the flop. Oh, diamond on the turn. That will dead Nellis. Well, that was pretty damn quick. So Pads is still in first place, but he's got some work to do. Obviously. I'm just saying, I see a lot of freaking final tables, and these final tables typically, they like that big stack. The big stack becomes a bully. Everybody hates the big stack. And the big stack eventually wins. Whoa! Overbet. Pretty well 1-to-1, the stack to pot ratio. So pads with a pair of 8s. Obviously loses to any 10, any ace, 9 jack. Queen jack misses. Hearts miss. Pads folds. We move along. Limp pot, Julio, king 6-0. Ace 7-3, flop, 9 on the turn. Bringing a straight draw to a 10 for Probris. It just goes check, check, and king high takes it down. Wow. There's nothing like some limp pots that check all the way down, and king high wins. That makes me want to play some cards. As pads rips over the open. Big boss with the suited queen 9 has to let it hit the muck. Boop-a-doo-doo. Interesting flop here. Jack 10 deuce. 2 diamonds for Julio. Top pair fair kicker for Big Boss. Bet and a half pot on the turn. Gonna be hard to fold the open ender. 8 on the river. Queen 9 gets there. Half pot again by Big Boss, and Julio has to fold to king high. Big Boss ripping in 20 blinds with the ace and the queen from the small. Getting it through. Julio, ace queen in the small. Getting it through. Alright. King 10 in the small. Limp it in. Okay. Jack 8-9 8 flop. 2 hearts. Ace on the turn. Probris stabs. Half pot. Pads comes along. Queen on the river. Pretty dirty. The absolute nizzles is king 10. Probris smacks it on the river, and you. Oh! I was gonna say we're not folding a pair of aces here. Pad says yes we are, bucko. Yes we are. Huh. Interesting fold on the river. Nicely done, pads. 4 ways to a flop. Middle set, not flush draw for Probris. Sorry, middle sets for pads. Open-ended straight draw for Big Boss. What the fuck's going on? And it checks through. Full house for pads. And Big Boss is bombing. Surely Probris comes along, right? Well, this is an interesting one. Don't raise. Don't raise. But if he calls, doesn't that look strong? 9 of hearts on the river. Big Boss with a pair of 5s. Probris with the flushed complete on the river. Does he jam? Losing to 7-6, 7-9, 6s, 5s, and 9s. Doesn't jam, half pot. Pads. Probably not folding a boat. Probably not. There's some weird action, so who knows? But no, we're not folding a boat. 6s win. Flush no good. Nice pot for pads. 63 big blinds. 3 ways to a flop. Top pair for pads. Second nut flush draw for Big Boss. Interesting stuff. Some real juicy flops we're seeing. 4 on the turn as ditches deuce it in the big blind. King 8 still in the lead. Big Boss needs a club or 10. 10 will do, leading out with a jam. What the fuck? So 6 sevens is straight. There's plenty of other straight draws that miss. Pads with a pair of 8s says, oh, I guess I'm calling you. Clubs missed. Big Boss shows him the 10, and just like that, Big Boss is in first place. Big Boss is in first place. Just barely, though. Oh, we're going to get this in. Pads hold. Ace on the turn. That looks good. No jack or anything else on the river. Pads 56 bigs back in first. Okay. Julio 7-6 suited. Picks up an 8 of diamonds, bringing in a draw to a 5, a 9, or a diamond. Pretty good turn there for Julio. We'll get king high to fold too. Big Boss lays down an ace on the button. It's not the most absurd thing I've ever seen. This non-suited aces don't necessarily want to have they don't want to have a big pot, you know? Who wants to have a big pot with ace 6 and say you make top pair? Oof, that's some gross shit. And you're getting check raised on the flop or something stupid with ace 6. Oof. Big Boss says, I'm not even going to stab. I'm going to wait for something a little better. Jack 9 suited. Flopping top pair. Pads turning top pair. Queen on the river. Pads bets, and that'll just save Big Boss about 2 million chips. Another limp pot. Pads doesn't stab with the open ender. On the turn, he does bomb away and gets it through. 3 ways to a flop. Top pair for Julio. Bottom pair for Pads. 5s are no good, but they're leading out on the 4 turn. Well, if Big Boss bluffs here, let's go all in. We block ace 5 suited. Doesn't matter. Big Boss just checks, and Julio shows him the pair of kings. Clubs for Pads. No straight draw, but the pair of 4s that I didn't see. Pads will win. I thought that pot was going to Big Boss. My bad. Pair of aces for Big Boss. We'll check raise on the flop there. And get it through. Ooh, Big Boss with a diamond. A pair of 3s. Top and bottom pair for Pads. Ooh, counterfeit on the river. Still sticks in a little bet and gets called by the 3s. Nicely done by Pads. Aces for Julio. Seriously, Poker Stars, no action? What the fuck is this? Do 4s rip? 4s limp. Alright. 3 ways to a flop. King, queen, 6. Pads stabs. And gets it through. That's kind of cool. Queen and a 3. Making a 3. 2 on the river for Big Boss. Fold. Ah, shit, he calls. 2 big blinds to go. Ah, he got a pair. What a shame. Another limp pot. Pads quickly stabbing on the ace high board. Queen with a pair of 6s comes along. It goes check check on the river in turn. Big Boss takes a small one. Ace and a deuce. Limping it in. Pad says, move along, bucko. Julio says, okay, I'll wait till we're heads up. Do-ka-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Walk for Pads. Ooh, here's a cooler. King on the flop. Heart, nope. 10, nope. 10 wouldn't give him a straight. We do finally get heads up. Sorry that was mid-yawn. Julio and Pads. What the hell's going on here? Flush draw versus a pair of 4s. Cool. Alrighty. Board pairs on the turn. Julio folds. Oh! 30 blinds, king, queen. Just gonna call. Okay, I like it. I like it. Sees a 9-3-3 flop. I should think we come along. Facing half pot. 9 of diamonds on the turn. Pad's picking up a flush draw. Still has the best of it with ace high. Bets again and takes it down. Julio with a suited ace queen. Doesn't flop a pair, but still should have the best of it here most often. He will get it through with a little bet. So about 27 bigs to about 70. Gonna need at least a double up. And maybe a pot or 2 here or there for Julio to get back in first place. Or to get into first place for the first time. But we're gonna have a big old flip here. Right? 8's put in the 3 bet. Pads 4 bets all in. Ace on the flop. Uh-oh. No 8. Julio's out of here. Pads gets the W. Ooh. I mean, no surprise to see Pads take this thing down. It took us not that long to get here either. Pads came in 53 blinds. Didn't have a commanding lead like Julio with 44s. Still battling it out. Robinho and Dallas 34 and 36 bigs respectively. You know, Robinho didn't go silently into the night. Neither did anybody else. Was just a nice short-handed battle. That's kind of what happens once things get a little bit shorter. Pads did a great job of hanging in there. Not super aggressive with the big stack that's short. 53 bigs. You feel like you should have some more. Anyways, Pads gets the job done. Nice work. We'll keep moving along in the old Scoop 2020. If you made it all the way through, thank you so much. If you don't give a shit about any of the commentary, go watch BCP Poker Replays right on their own damn channel. You know, he's just got all the dang videos. Go do that instead. Alrighty, adios.